So, if you've done any kind of research online lately, you know something huge is happening. The way we find information is changing at a wild pace, and it's all thanks to artificial intelligence. We're talking about a complete game changer that can slash hours of tedious work down to just minutes.
And that's really the big question we're digging into here. Is AI really going to be our new go-to research assistant? Let's figure it out. You know the drill, right? For what feels like forever, research been staring at a screen like this one, a total mess of blue links, ads, and random snippets. And it was on you to click through everything and somehow piece it all together. But now, the new way looks a lot more like, well, this. A clean, straightforward answer. That right there is the fundamental shift, and it's changing everything.
All right, so if we're going to be working with this new AI assistant, we should probably get to know it, right? Let's pop the hood and see what kind of tech is actually making all this happen. So let's start with the basics. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is really just the big picture idea of building computer systems that can do things that normally need a human brain. Things like reasoning, seeing patterns, and, super important for us, understanding language. Okay, now here's where the magic really happens. The engine powering these incredible new tools is something called a large language model, or LLM for short. The best way to think about it is like a super-powered prediction machine. Seriously, it's been fed a truly mind-boggling amount of text from all over the internet, and its one main job is just to guess what's the most statistically probable next word in a sentence. It's not thinking or understanding like we do, but it's gotten so good at predicting patterns that it can create text that feels incredibly human.
But, and this is a really, really important point for anyone doing serious research, an LLM is a tool. It is not a co-author. It's just following your instructions. It has zero critical thinking skills. And that's exactly why major academic publishers have come out and said, you cannot credit an LLM as an author on a paper. It's your assistant, absolutely, but it is not your colleague. Okay, so we know what's under the hood. Now for the fun part. Let's look at the actual toolkit this thing offers. How can we put our new assistant to work on real-world stuff? Well, it turns out your new assistant has a pretty wild resume. I mean, it can take a dense 50-page report and spit out 5 key bullet points. It can pull specific names and dates out of messy text. It can even scan hundreds of customer reviews to tell you if people are happy or not. It can turn an interview into a blog post, brainstorm a bunch of new ideas for you. Heck, it can even write code to visualize your data. The versatility is just insane. All right, let's look at a classic researcher's nightmare. You've got this perfect report, but you're just drowning in this wall of text, and all you need are the key facts, like yesterday. So you're staring at something like this. You know the info you need is in there somewhere, but it's all tangled up. You're trying to pull out customer demographics for a marketing plan, but it's a slow, painful process. And boom, this is where your AI assistant just shines. You give it that messy paragraph with a simple command, and seconds later, it pulls out all the core info and organizes it into this beautiful, clean table. Think about it. What would have taken you, 5-10 minutes of careful reading and typing is just done, instantly. Okay, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This assistant has some pretty serious blind spots, which is exactly why it always needs a human supervisor. Let's talk about why.
This single biggest problem you need to know about is something called a hallucination. Remember how we said LLMs are just predicting the next most likely word? Well, sometimes the sentence that sounds the most statistically probable isn't actually true. The AI can just mix stuff up that sounds completely correct and authoritative, but it's pure fiction.
And trust me, this is not some abstract theoretical problem. There was this huge case where a lawyer used ChatGPT for legal research. He submitted a brief that cited a bunch of previous court cases. The only problem? As the judge pointed out, those cases never happened. The AI just invented them from scratch, complete with bogus quotes and fake citations. It's a massive warning. You have to verify everything. And hallucinations are really just the most dramatic flaw. You've also got to watch out for inherent bias, because if the training data is biased, and let's be real, a lot of the internet is, then the AI's output will be biased too. Then there are the hard knowledge cutoffs. For example, ChatGPT 4's world ends in December 2023, so it's useless for very recent events. You've got fuzzy copyright rules that are different everywhere you look, and a big one, it has zero ethical awareness. It doesn't know right from wrong. Your assistant is powerful, but it's definitely not wise. So, with all these pitfalls, how do we actually get the good stuff out of it? Well, it all comes down to how you talk to it. You really have to master the art of the prompt. I mean, just look at the difference here. A super vague prompt like, "What are some online recruiting tips?" is going to get you a boring generic list that's not helpful to anyone. But get specific, give it context. "Help me build an online recruiting strategy for my online skincare shop in Canada." See? Now you're going to get something tailored, something you can actually use. Context is king.
It really boils down to a few simple steps. 1, be super detailed and specific. Give it all the context you can. 2, guide the model. Break down big tasks into smaller, step-by-step instructions. 3, if you can, show it what a good answer looks like. Give it an example. And 4, and this is maybe the most important, iterate. Don't just ask once. Tweak your prompt, refine it, treat it like a conversation to get what you really need.
And get this, here's a kind of weird but awesome tip from the researchers at Google DeepMind. They found that just adding the phrase, "Take a deep breath and work on this problem step by step," can actually make the AI's answers better. It's a little psychological trick for the machine that seems to make it more thorough. How cool is that? So, what's the big picture here? Where does all this lead? It's not about humans being replaced, it's about a partnership. And this right here is the most important thing to remember. AI is not a replacement for your brain. It's not a substitute for critical thinking. It is an accelerator. It's there to do the boring, tedious stuff, the summarizing, the data pulling, the formatting, so that you have more time to focus on the high-level thinking, the stuff that humans are uniquely good at.
Honestly, your job as the researcher is now more important than ever. You're the one setting the strategy and the goals. You're the one who has to check the AI's work for mistakes and bias. You're the one who has to go back to the original sources and verify that the facts are actually facts. And you're the one who provides that final critical analysis and insight. The AI might find the dots, but you're the one who connects them.
Look, at the end of the day, AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's not an oracle. It doesn't have all the answers. The most critical, the most valuable part of the entire research process is still you. So the real question isn't, is AI going to take over? The real question is, how are you going to use it?